Is the calling they're hearing real, or is Corypheus mimicking it somehow?
I have no idea. Before all this, I'd barely heard of Corypheus. I didn't even know he was supposed to be a magister until I started digging around. But right now, all that matters is the Wardens are acting like they're going to die.
And that's as most of us know, desperate people do desperate things. And I don't think there's any way to make a warden more desperate than to think that all of the wardens in the vicinity are dying. Like, it's a very, very good, very compelling part of the plot, in my opinion. So are you affected?
You said all the Wardens are hearing the calling. Does that include you?
Unfortunately, yes. When I'm talking or fighting, I can almost ignore it. But whenever things are quiet, I can hear it. It's like a song you can't get out of your head.
It's so interesting that it's a song. Like, I've always found that part of the calling very, very interesting. That, like, he relates it to, like, music. Like, it's like a song you can't get out of your head. I don't know why I find that fascinating. So how is this all possible?
How can Corypheus make all these Wardens hear the calling?
I have no idea. I suppose it's part of what he is. Corypheus is tied to the Blight, and not just a product of it like most Darkspawn. Wardens are connected to the Darkspawn too. That's how he seems able to control Wardens who get too close to him. And that's likely what he's doing here as well. Somehow.
So the Wardens are scared?
So the Wardens think they're dying and have stopped thinking clearly. That won't go well.
I saw what a Blight did to Ferelden. If Wardens hadn't stopped it, there'd be no more Thedas. Warden Commander Clarel proposed some drastic things, blood magic and such, to prevent further blights before we die. I protested. Maybe too loudly. And Clarel sent guards and... well, here I am. Wardens were gathering here, in the western approach. It's an old Tevinter ritual tower. I'm going to investigate. I could use some help.
So we shall do that. Alistair!
We should get to that ritual tower in the western approach. Ideally before it lives up to its name.
Can I ask you a question? Where's the hero of Ferelden? All right, y'all. Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
Was the hero of Ferelden involved in all this?
No. She left before any of this began. A mission of her own. Something personal. We Wardens don't live that long. The calling I spoke of, the real one before it went crazy. Eventually it kills her. Thing is, when we killed the archdemon, we discovered that might not be as set in stone as we thought. So she's searching for a way to end the curse. For us both. Maybe for us all.
Why aren't you two together?
The way you talk about her, I'm surprised you aren't still together.
Oh, there was a discussion, believe me. Someone had to look into the rumors about Corypheus. We didn't know what was involved at the time. She was going to stay to help, but we had a lead that couldn't wait. One of us had to go. And when I'm done here, we'll be together again. Forever this time.
Yes. Yes, you will. Have you been happy?
Have you been happy with her in the years since the Blight?
Happier than I ever dreamed possible. She's more than I deserve. And I hope I make her days easier as well. She was rebuilding the Wardens in Ferelden while I hunted Darkspawn left over from the Blight. It was hard work for both of us. But we always had each other.
Oh. Sorry, it's always just so sweet the way he talks about her and like, you know, you can end the calling.
How can the calling be stopped? Is that actually possible?
Grand Enchanter Fiona was once a warden, so I'm told, but had the taint completely drawn out of her. And there was also a warden named Avernus, who extended his life far beyond what should have been possible. So, we looked into it. We weren't going to give up without a fight. And that's when we found a rumor that meant going deep into the West. It wasn't much, But we've done more with less. My love will find a way. I'm certain of it.
His, like, he is so in love with your warden. Like, if you go down the Alistair romancing the warden route, he's so in love with her. And, like, I think for me, personally, like, I think of my characters, like, I personally don't self-insert in these games. I know some people choose to RPG that way. I never do. I personally see all of these people as individuals, like, in my head. I know it might sound weird to some of you, but Emery is Emery. Emery has her own personality in my head. She has her own special place in my heart. Riley, the same thing. Genevieve, Mari, like, the list goes on. So I see all of them as individual people, and I couldn't hope for anything more for Emery than somebody that loves her that much, for somebody that believes in her that much all these years later. Like, he is still just as crazy about her as he was the day that they met. I think that that's so special, and I love that so much. And then, like, I mentioned in my DA2 Let's Play that when Alistair shows up and he gives Mari an amulet from Emery, or excuse me, that had been Emery's, like, the way that interaction went down was just incredible. So I love seeing this across the board. Like, Em is here. Em is in her own way now part of this game, especially because I think we're about to get a war table thing that we can do. So I've always loved that, and I've always appreciated it a lot. So yeah, I don't know. I just love whenever Alistair talks about whatever warden I insert here, because this is, you know, special.
If she's been looking for a way to stop the calling, perhaps she could help us.
I'll give the information to your people in the war room. If nothing else, I'd like to warn her about Corypheus.
Okay. So let's now go back. Now we have to go back and do this war table mission right now. Are there other things that we should be doing here? Absolutely. Absolutely. But Emery has a war table mission. We don't have to wait, because we have war table, no waiting. I love that mod so much. Some people have called me a cheater, pumpkin eater for using that mod. And it might be to some, but to me, it is sanity saving. I don't know of a greater mod to save my sanity than no war table waiting mod. Because some of those things take so long. Oh my goodness. Okay, so war table. Let's go. I love that her outfit pops in and out with, like, the old outfit. I know that's just like a limitation of everything, but I do enjoy that immensely. Okay, then I think we should also have the hissing waste. I think we should have that area open. Are we gonna go finish Crestwood? I don't know. Let's chat about this. Hold on, please. What is this? No. Can receive training. Oh. Yes.
The order was sent?
This morning.
Find the mayor of Crestwood. Thank you.
Inquisitor.
Perfect. He's here. Okay. Good. Gold. Or not gold, but lyrium. Escape route for the agents of the Inquisition. Yes, please.
Inquisitor.
Thank you, Liliana. Protect the Inquisitor. No. Contact the hero of Ferelden. It will not be easy. Okay.
Let's see what we have.
There we go. Now, also, before I do that, did we? No. Empress de Leon. Right, we're going to the western approach, not the hissing waste. Start the venatory activity in the west. Also, did we? Okay, I just wanted to see where we were for this. We are doing this next, by the way. Like, as far as main story quests.
We cannot neglect our soldiers' training.
Cullen.
Can we neglect roads? Our allies cannot take the same route through them.
Okay. Here we go. Are you ready? No. Can you click on these individually? No. Okay. It's a codex entry. And it always takes me a minute. Letters and notes. To her worship, Inquisitor Trevelyan. I appreciate your warning regarding Corypheus. Fortunately, my own search has taken me out of the area where the supposed Magister is operating, and while I have encountered challenges of my own, they have not involved any weakness related to my Grey Warden abilities. As I have little useful information to offer, please accept the accompanying gift instead. If, in my quest, I find anything that may be of use to you in your fight against Corypheus, I'll send it to you immediately. I also have included a note of a personal nature for Warden Alistair. Please take care of him. Like me, he was instrumental in ending the last blight. I trust his compassion and his strength above any others, and I would not go through such effort to overcome our calling only to lose him to your Inquisition. Yours, Warden Commander Tabris of Ferelden. It would not be that. I believe she'd have a different last name because I had to import somebody else because M wasn't done at the time. So ignore that last part. But when I tell you, okay, she is threatening us, I would not go through such efforts to overcome our calling only to lose him to your Inquisition. She will cut you. Not only that, but she will, like, if anything happens to this man, you know what is going to happen to us. Death and destruction. She is going to murder us. So I think you know which way we're going to go later. But I'm just preparing you now. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But just prepare. Because above all other things, I am afraid of Emery. I've mentioned it before, but I'm afraid of all my kids. Okay? They're mine. I have every reason to be terrified of them. Oh, Mayor Dedrick. Let's go judge him. I would like to sit in my fancy seat, please.
Mayor Gregory Dedrick of Crestwood is present for betraying his own constituents. He confesses that, 10 years ago, he flooded Old Crestwood to kill refugees and villagers touched by the Blight. The mayor claims it was to spare the rest of Crestwood, but we only have his word.
He has a chance to prove it.
If the mayor has anything to say in his defense, let him speak.
There's no cure for the Blight. But I couldn't convince anyone to leave a sick child or husband behind.
So you herded the infected into one place and flooded Old Crestwood. Were no innocents caught in the waters?
Nearly everyone in the village had the Blight. I swear it. Have mercy. I couldn't tell the survivors I'd drowned their own families to save them. I couldn't.
Best I can do is exile.
You lied for 10 years about your crime, then fled after confessing your guilt. For avoiding justice, you are exiled from Ferelden. I doubt the Crown will disagree.
I knew your coming meant the end. One way or another.
Sometimes I wonder if he was hoping that you'd execute him, just so he wouldn't have to live with this anymore. I personally don't think it's worth being the executor on this one. I don't think it's worth killing this man or sending him back to Ferelden. Mainly because I don't know what I'd do in his shoes. Legitimately, he was trying to save his people from the Blight. Were there better ways he could do it? Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, he was in a shitty situation. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's a tough one. I like the moral quandary in that. And I feel like you could have several discussions for pretty much hours on end on whether or not what he did was the right thing. We haven't talked to people in a while. Should we go run around quickly and say hi? I know I was going to head back to Crestwood and do more Crestwood things. I was going to show you where the bottles were. They're down there, but I feel like I already did. But if I didn't, I'll do it soon. I'm going to go back anyways, but let's go this way. Vivienne, do you want to talk?
What is it?
Oh, are we not going to be friends? I'll talk to you later. Okay, so Vivienne does not want to be friends right now. I thought she'd like me. But maybe not. Not yet. Fiona!
Greetings, Inquisitor. That is your title now, yes?
Yep.
I should thank you. The way things ended in Redcliffe, you could have demanded anything you wished. Yet you chose to make us equal partners. I was not expecting that.
We're not equal partners, though.
Let's be realistic. You're not equal partners with the Inquisition.
Fair enough. Huh. I've been a Grey Warden, Grand Enchanter, leader of a rebellion, and now I am none of those things. Odd where fate takes you, as you're no doubt well aware.
Yes, actually. So you were a Grey Warden?
You were once a Grey Warden.
Mine is an unusual circumstance, Inquisitor. Normally one is part of the Order until death, but long ago I found myself stripped of what made me a Warden. They tried to reinitiate me, but nothing worked. Nor could they figure out how it happened. So I was sent to the Circle of Magi, the first Warden ever to be kicked out. Quite the achievement.
I mean, given what the Wardens are going through right now, I don't know if you, got the shit end of that stick. That didn't bother you, though?
You sound happy about it.
Becoming a Warden seemed like a dream when I was first conscripted. Towards the end, however, my brothers and sisters, they felt I had somehow cheated death. I was glad to leave. It also made me unique in the Circle. I had an opportunity to do more than I ever could as a Warden.
That's an interesting way to look at it. I mean, I can also see her fellow Wardens being jealous and thinking that she had cheated death, though. Because to them, she would have. She'll never hear the calling. And then you started a rebellion.
You mean you began the Mage Rebellion?
I pushed for our vote to free the Circles of Magi. But I cannot claim sole responsibility for what followed. Still, despite all the chaos, I would do it again. What happened had to happen.
Okay. Well, I will talk to you soon. Thank you.
I'll leave you to it.
Okay, so Fiona. Dorian!
Anything interesting?
A letter regarding Felix, Alexius's son. He went to the Magisterium, stood on the Senate floor and told them of you. A glowing testimonial, I'm informed. No news on the reaction, but everyone back home is talking. Felix always was as good as his word.
Was?
He's dead. The Blight caught up with him.
I am so sorry, Dorian.
Are you all right?
He was ill, and thus on borrowed time anyhow.
That doesn't mean you can't regret his death.
I know. Felix used to sneak me treats from the kitchens when I was working late in his father's study. Don't get into trouble on my behalf, I tell him. I like trouble, he'd say. Tevinter could use more mages like him. Those who put the good of others above themselves.
What about you, though, Dorian? Aren't you already the best?
You make it sound like he was a better person than you.
What a mad thing to say. Few people are better than I. Very well, a better person, clearly, not nearly as handsome.
Agreed.
Thankfully, Felix wasn't the only decent sort kicking around Thedas.
Being best friends with Dorian in this game is literally one of my favorite things. He is such a good friend. And like, I don't know. I appreciate it that he will tell you like it is and then also give compliments when they're due. All right, have we talked to Solas after that weird-ass dream that we had, or did I flee the scene? Because I feel like I fled the scene. Solas!
Sleep well?
That was, I don't know what that was.
When I asked to talk to you, I didn't think we'd be doing it in the Fade. Still, better than the dream where I'm standing naked in front of the war table.
Since you went to the trouble of finding me in your sleep, it was worth the effort of doing something interesting. I had no idea that the anchor would allow you to dream with such focus. It is truly remarkable, but I am reasonably certain we are awake now. And if you wish to discuss anything, I would enjoy talking.
I will talk to you. Wait, tell me about Coryphy shit.
I need to know more about Corypheus.
We spoke of this on our travels to Skyhold. What more can I tell you? Cassandra and Varric seem more familiar with our adversary.
I respect you, though, in your opinion?
You've given me good counsel before. I could use some now.
My apologies, Inquisitor. My poor manners shame me. I claim no secret wisdom, but I will guess as best I can.
Sir. Sir, no secret wisdom. That's the thing, though. He's not lying. He doesn't have secret wisdom. He just has forgotten wisdom, right? Like, that's why Solas was written so well in this game. It's not secret. It's just if it's forgotten to the history books or things have changed, that's on us. That's not on him. Tell me about his orb.
I would like to know more about the orb he carries.
As I said, that must be the means by which he created the breach. I suspect the blast that destroyed the Conclave was more accident than anything. The result of unlocking power that had sought release for ages. What I cannot understand is how he managed to survive such an explosion.
The orb is elven, you said?
You said that you believed the orb is elven.
I never would have believed a Devinter mage could unlock such a powerful relic. It clearly enhances his abilities, giving him access to power he should never have known.
Like the power to control the archdemon.
Indirectly, one assumes. Nothing in any lore connects my people to the old god dragons who became archdemons.
It's interesting that he said, in any lore. Not that it doesn't connect. Remember, careful wording with Solas. I've personally always had the headcanon that they are one and the same or they are attached in some way. So each Evanuris or like elven god has its opposite or its equal or can turn into that old god dragon, right? So and when you look at who these old gods were, like the dragon version, you can definitely see the parallels. As I think I mentioned in a comment for Dragon Age the Veilguard, which has come out at this point, by the way. I do have a Let's Play here on the channel if you're curious at all to see it. But as I mentioned, I kind of always have seen them as like Greek versus Roman gods. Like same thing, but slightly different. Same name, same idea. Or not like different names, but same idea, maybe slight tweaks, stuff like that in the lore. So that's how I personally always viewed them. Now, I know things are kind of changing from a lore perspective, possibly in the Veilguard, which I would personally expect, especially as lore has changed and evolved over time within the 3 games. The 4th game, changing and evolving lore, makes sense in my brain. But at this point, you know, past Plex has always played into the notion that they are either one and the same or they are, like, directly tied. Like, whether or not... Because, like, we know, like, Mythal can turn into a dragon, right? Like, we know that there is that ability there. So I guess in my brain, once I made that connection, I always saw it as, well, if Mythal can turn into a dragon, then probably the rest of them can too. So what if they are one and the same? What if that's what gets dug up? What if that's what gets turned? What if that's what gets worshipped by the Darkspawn, basically? So when he says here, nothing in any lore connects them, He's literally saying what he's saying, though. There isn't lore that's connected them, but also people don't know about what happened to the Evanuris. They just think that they disappeared. Like, they don't know that Solas has locked them away. So I do think that that is an interesting, careful wording, depending on how you want to headcanon the lore up to this point. What's his power?
What can you tell me about the source of Corypheus's power?
According to the law, the ancient Magistars of Devinter received guidance from the old gods. Corypheus commands a false archdemon, a corrupted old god. This suggests he no longer sees himself as their minion. Some of his unique power comes from the corruption of the Blight. The rest may come from the orb he carries.
May come from, but we don't know. It might not. Who knows? Like, he's doing so much, like, fine, careful tap dancing right now.
What do you think Corypheus will do next?
You shamed him when you destroyed Haven. Spoiled his glorious victory.
Good.
It would be worse to acknowledge that you had done so. He must continue on his course or show weakness. He will return to his plans to throw Olay into chaos, and then conquer it for Devinter.
You're certain?
You're sure that's what he'll do?
As certain as is possible, assuming I can plausibly predict a man who seeks to rise to godhood.
Sir?
And can you?
The key is understanding this. No real god need prove himself. Anyone who tries is mad or lying. His deception will undo him, as it has done countless fools before.
I'll talk to you later.
We'll talk later.
That is 100% him talking to you from, like, direct experience. Because, I mean, the Evanhurst were just people before. They were just elves. They weren't anything. And then they rose to godhood because they made themselves that important and people worshipped them, kind of thing, as is talked about and as you like read in the codex entries, and then as we get into like the Veilguard and stuff and learn. So I love that. Like the way he's talking about that is that's good. It's good. As noted, partner of the Inquisition, Lady Montilia has ensured our contacts are quick to reply. Fade Spirit. Okay, yes, he's literally collecting all the books on Fade Spirits. Did I accidentally? Wait. Yes, okay. I forgot that I had set the pause to that. And I was like, quick saving. Whoops. Whoops, whoops. Cullen! I need you. Flirt with me. Hi.
Inquisitor.
Yeah.
I've found where the Red Templars come from. Therenfall Redoubt. The Knights were fed red lyrium until they turned into monsters. Samson took over after their corruption was complete.
How do you know Samson?
He was a Templar in Kirkwall, until he was expelled from the Order. I knew he was an addict, but this... Red lyrium is nothing like the lyrium given by the Chantry. Its power comes with a terrible madness.
Oh. I believe you.
The Red Templars swarming Haven were proof enough.
We cannot allow them to gain strength. The Red Templars still require lyrium. If we find their source, we can weaken them and their leader.
Okay. Good thinking.
I like finding the Red Templars' vulnerabilities before fighting them head-on.
We'll need every advantage against what courses through their veins. Caravans of red lyrium are being smuggled along trade roads. Investigating them could lead to where it's being mined. If you confront them, be wary. Anything connected to Samson will be well guarded.
Hey, Cullen, do you have anything flirty you want to talk about? Sir? Sir? Wait, there's another cutscene? Yes! I mean, this is awful, but yes, flirt moment.
As leader of the Inquisition, there's something I must tell you.
Well, this sounds very ominous, sir.
You're being especially serious today.
I know. Lyrium grants Templars our abilities, but it controls us as well. Those cut off suffer. Some go mad, others die. We have secured a reliable source of lyrium for the Templars here. But I no longer take it.
You stopped?
When I joined the Inquisition. It's been months now.
Let's see, but why?
Why are you doing this?
After what happened in Kirkwall, I couldn't. I will not be bound to the Order, or that life any longer. Whatever the suffering, I accept it. But I would not put the Inquisition at risk. I've asked Cassandra to watch me. If my ability to lead is compromised, I will be relieved from duty.
Are you okay?
Are you in pain?
I can endure it.
That's not what I said. Oh no, there is no flirt. I respect your decision.
Thank you for telling me. I respect what you're doing.
Thank you, Inquisitor. The Inquisition's army must always take priority. Should anything happen, I will defer to Cassandra's judgment.
Okay, there was no flirt line there, but I think that that's really important, and I do think that it says a lot about Cullen. You know, he doesn't want to be part of that. He doesn't want to be bound to that lifestyle anymore. And I do like how this is a big part of their relationship, in that you are helping him through something this big, something this terrifying. And that, I mean, it's a very addictive substance, given that it also grants Templars their abilities. And like, I can't imagine somebody like Cullen being okay with not being like what he would deem as the top of his game, if that makes sense. And now he's got to deal with that too.